Mark Fletcher looked like a man, especially the back half of last season.
Yes.
Great games. Louisville comes to mind. There was another one in there for like a 140-yard game. Again, there was a reason he was ranked where he was, and Miami, of course, flipped him, and they're glad they did. And so now he springboards into 2024 with the rest of that running back group.
Yeah, with Mark Fletcher, unfortunately, he got banged up at the end of last year, so he had to get surgery. So currently, right now, he's one of the few guys in spring camp that has not played. He won't be back till hopefully fall, but we'll see how that goes. But right now, the running back room, you got Trevante Citizen, who's been banged up his whole college career, who we all expect to hopefully make some movement and some improvement here in his third year at Miami. You also got Henry Parrish, who's coming off an injury as well. He's a little bit banged up in the springtime. But you do have some younger guys that they're using right now. You got Chris Hellcat Humphrey, and then you also have another running back by the name of Chris Johnson Jr. Both of these guys bring another dynamic to the running back room that I don't think any of the guys currently on the roster bring. And it's a speed element, right? Chris Hellcat and Chris Johnson, both of those guys can take it the distance off of one play. And when you talk to the current running back coach, Coach Merritt, these are things that are missing, that's been missing in the last few years in the running back room. We're starting to get the big body running backs that could run you over and are physical, but we're still missing the home run threat guys. We got to bring more speed to the table. And I think Chris Johnson and Chris Hellcat does just that. And you're starting to see in this 2025 class some of the running backs that we're recruiting. Someone like a Gerald Pringle Jr., who's very high on our list, is another guy that's a home run threat and could take it the distance. But the running back room in general is going to be one to watch. I would not be surprised if we look into the portal for another running back, depending on how much experience they bring to the table. We did try to get a running back from Florida State that signed as a walk-on, and he ended up leaving and going elsewhere. So I would say, maybe another running back could be a possibility in the transfer portal. But a lot of that, honestly, is riding on Trevante Citizen. I think Trevante Citizen, if anyone who follows recruiting, if you remember someone by the name of Travis Etienne, running back out of Florida that transferred to Georgia. As great as he was at Florida, ladies and gentlemen, he was not the number one running back in the state of Louisiana coming out of high school. That was Trevante Citizen, who is the current running back at the University of Miami. So that just goes to show you what type of the table when you see someone like Etienne do what he does in the SEC week in and week out. So just really getting healthy is what's going to be the key for Trevante Citizen. You don't want to put too much workload on a guy like him. You're going to want to ease him into things. And I think that Florida game first week will be a very big test for him because I think it's going to be a running back by committee that game. Because if you really look at our schedule, how it lines up, our first three games after Florida, I think you got Ball State and one other inexperienced team. Those three games, if you're able to bring in another portal guy in the running back room, or if someone like Citizen and Ajayi Allen can really step up and be those guys very early on, you may not even have to play someone like Mark Fletcher those first three games. If you could get by the Florida game without playing him and get a W under your belt, I would say, hey, rest Mark Fletcher as much as possible if you can, because that's going to be a guy that you're going to want at the end of your football season, because he's going to really take things to a whole nother level, especially in the red zone, because he brings a whole nother element that we don't have in the running back room. So you're going to want that guy as healthy as possible all throughout the football year, because as we know, the playoffs, it has expanded, and I'm looking forward to it because I think Miami has a legit shot to hopefully get there.
Yeah, I've heard of several coaches during the offseason mention what the college football playoff expanded field is going to do, especially at the running back position. Defensive line's another position where you're used to rotating guys. Guys need a blow. You need to be able to have layers of players, and especially now with the extended season, if you intend on competing for a national championship, you got to be deep at every position, but especially those two positions because of the wear and tear on those guys.